this right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Thank you, Joe. I can see you on the bottom is pointing at me. All right, that's fine. I was worried it was feedback because my headphones aren't working. So let's start that again. There we go. It allows for a few more people to come into the stream. Hello, Chad. Oh dear. And Anata on fire. Thank you ever so much. 65 Fahrenheit and sunny in Clearwater, Washington, USA. So as I was saying, welcome everyone to this special Clothing Love Stories with a special guest. I hope you're well. Hello, Michelle. Welcome. Do please all make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I've had some wonderful feedback after my live on Tuesday with Whitney Witness, which was absolutely amazing to hear, and she has really appreciated it as well. So thank you all who listened and was in the live and has watched since on replay. She was like kind of nervous for it, so I'm really pleased that we've had such nice feedback. And yeah, we will come back hopefully next week, but we're kind of gonna work out the details on that, so do watch out for more. And hello Pup Groomer as well, welcome. So I will now announce my special guest to the stage. Welcome, Joe Giuseppe. Hey. Oh, no, you're muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, sorry, it's because I turned myself down because I was worried it was feedback. So do tell me if you can hear any echo. But yeah, I just realised I couldn't hear you. Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Bit tired. It's 8:30 here, but I'm all right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Same. It's all right. This is I sort of usually finish at like 8, so I'm still a bit sort of pumped from trying to rush home. And if you didn't see the stream on Tuesday, I am in celebration mode this week because my sister had her baby.
Congratulations.
So cheers. Plenty of slurping for Denver. Denver, sorry. Mixing up his names. So Joe, if you want to introduce yourself to everyone that might not know you from my channel.
Where do I start? So I also live in London or thereabouts. So I'm not going to be any more specific than that.
Yeah.
I'm a luthier by profession, so I build and repair stringed instruments. Like so.
Oh, lovely.
Let me see what else. I don't know. What would people like to know, really?
Maybe sort of what brings you on to YouTube? Obviously, sort of you do some of your music and
yeah. So I've had a YouTube channel for years and years, and I've been mainly using it as kind of I guess marketing for my business and for same as you, and for like putting myself playing music and stuff on there. More recently, I've got into doing these sort of live streams, and sharing experiences and getting to know
wonderful.
you always. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So Ling, so you're like my first guest on here, so I don't really know sort of kind of what
Second.
to do. I like to sort of be a bit chilled in everyday stuff.
Second,
So
right?
we'll kind of just go with the flow. So obviously it's Clothing Love Stories. So do you want to talk us or actually no, I will go first with my outfit and then you can do yours. So today's outfit is some jeans, which is a rare one for me to wear, and I've unbuttoned my top button because I'm sitting down. And just this like really nice silk top that I've just put over a t-shirt. And if anyone saw my last Clothing Love Story when I talked about care and repair, I said that I always wear t-shirts and things under things because then they can go in the wash more. And when I'm not wearing a t-shirt with this, I usually put a little ping because it does just like flap open. But yeah, today it's kind of okay being open. But the top itself is a silk top with this kind of yellow and it's sort of a dark green print on it of flowers and leaves. And that's from when I was working at Monsoon. So that is about 10 to 8 years old. So it's a fairly old top, which is nice. But again, sort of because I have to sort of ping it, I don't actually wear it that often. So I'm going to try and make more of an effort over this autumn winter because I kind of like it as an autumn winter one. And then the jeans is just like skinny ones from when I worked at Levi's. So that was about 3 years ago. Yeah, sort of 4 years ago actually. So they've sort of got quite a bit of wearing them, but sort of with the lockdown where I put on weight, I actually haven't been able to wear jeans for at least 2 years, and sort of kind of 2.5 really, because the summer I don't tend to wear jeans that often because it's getting so warm now with climate change and everything that I can't deal with jeans in sort of hot weather. So so this is actually the first time that I've really sort of worn them quite properly for a while. So I'm quite excited to get back into my jeans. But yeah, so that is today's outfit. So do you want to talk about yours?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you put your intro music back on, I'll give you a 12.
Oh, I can't. I'll have to put the whole thing on because I don't just have the music. Oh no! Oh, you have to do it now. You have to do it now with the music going. I can't do the music. Oh no! Right, there we go.
Never mind.
There we go. We'll piece it together afterwards.
It'll be seamless afterwards.
Yeah, that's all right. So is this you
Right,
in your sort of autumn winter attire?
Yeah, I guess so. This is me and I'm not currently working. I'm indoors attire. Um,
Nice.
or if I was going out for the evening, this is the sort of thing I might wear. Yeah,
Oh
when
yeah.
uh, so I guess I share your, maybe dislike is too strong a word. I really don't like jeans personally at all. I tend to
Mm.
wear leggings most of the time because I've just got used to that, and I find that wearing jeans is kind of, they just feel kind of restrictive, and like I don't get the movement that I need, and so yeah. Um,
That's fair enough.
and yeah, when I'm working, like I wear like stuff that's kind of tighter fitting, so it doesn't get caught in machinery and that. Um, which means that when I, yeah, do, if I'm going out somewhere or something, I'll wear like nice kind of flowy stuff, and like in the height of summer, I wear that as well. Um, yeah, so basically everything I'm wearing, as usual, is from charity shops because I love charity shops. For our American viewers, thrift stores, I think you call them. Because yeah,
Yeah.
I wear your grandma's clothes and I look incredible. Doesn't rhyme anymore.
Exactly.
Um, and
Fabulous. So then
yeah,
that sort of brings us into like what we were going to talk about today was sort of secondhand and charity shop and vintage and all that sort of stuff. So do you have favorite places that you like to go?
as in like which charity shops or
Yeah, like a sort of kind of, like with like charity shops, you get like the proper sort of charity shops, or you get kind of, so where I am, I'm sort of southeast of the river, and we have some stores that are kind of, they're secondhand stores, but they're not really, they're more sort of quirky, chic sort of style rather than it actually being like for a charity, or like a set charity anyway.
Well, I find so where I am in London or near to London, I find a lot of those sort of shops which market themselves as vintage tend to be more expensive and tend to
Mm.
not really have how can like, I guess they're marketed towards a different, go away fly. They're marketed towards a different I guess a different market that's not necessarily like me, because I like to hunt out like the bargains in the charity shops, and it's like if someone's already been through those charity shops and picked out what they think you like and what they think are the bargains, and that's not really necessarily what I'm after. So yeah, in certainly where I am, that's not really a thing. It's just charity shops or those kind of like vintage shops, which are really more, I don't know. That's what I find anyway.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, I
yeah.
totally get what you mean. Yeah, because like the ones near me, they're sort of, it's all in that color order and things like that. But there is in East London, off of well, it's quite a way off of Brick Lane, but it's sort of, you kind of walk down um underneath some of the railway arches, and there is a Beyond Retro, which is my favorite vintage store because it is just proper, it's like proper vintage, all just sort of thrown in there. So you have like all your swimwear together and things like that, all your tops together, all your tops and jackets together and that, but it's not curated. So yeah, that I absolutely love going that in that place and just sort of finding the yeah, sort of old school ski jackets and things like that. It's like my thing that I want to do is to find an old ski jacket and to re sort of wad it and everything. For because I potentially really need to get a new ski jacket because my one's quite a number of years old.
Okay.
And
We go skiing then.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. I've never been.
Yeah, not always like every single year, but yeah, I went last year and I'm going this year. But yeah, and it's just sort of those kind of old school, sort of kind of 80s style with all the different colours and sort of like they've all been mashed together. I love them.
I see. I like the 70s stuff more. Generally speaking, I'm all about paisley and
Yeah, I
like
can see you
the
doing that.
flowy stuff. And I guess yeah, when I was younger, I was a bit of a hippie. air quotes. Obviously, I'm not from the 60s, but like,
Yeah.
so I've just had someone on my channel, by the way, ask for
Oh
your
yeah.
channel link. So if you could put that up on screen,
Oh
is that
yeah.
a thing you can do?
Oh gosh, yeah, I'm gonna have to find it. I've got yours.
It's at the Ethical Tailor, I
Let me
think. Is that right?
find it. It is, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet of them. Oh, you know what? Someone brought me a tea the other day. It was so sweet. They haven't said whether I can like say their name, so I won't do, but yeah, that was like really, really lovely. So thank you, whoever that was. So yeah, this is my channel at the Ethical Tailor.
There we go.
So you can all write that down. And then for anyone on my channel, this is Joe's, Joe Giuseppe. Oh, by the way, because I said your name the other day and I realised that I might be saying it wrong. Is it Giuseppe?
Yep.
Oh, right, it is. Right, that's
You got it
fine.
right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always worry that I'm like saying names wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. So
Oops.
yeah, anyway, where were we?
Fabulous.
Yeah,
Oh, it was
I tend
Terry. Oh, sorry, Joe. It was
oh,
Terry. Oh, thank you so much, Terry. I appreciate that. Right. I have a jing instead, so.
celebration mode.
Right, sorry, carry on.
So yeah, fancy floaty scarves. I'm all
Oh,
about as
yeah,
well.
that's beautiful.
I have way
Is
too
that a
many scarves.
silk or
No, it's just normal cotton, I
like a
guess. I don't know.
cotton?
I
Right.
think so.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it
But yeah,
looks like super
I have way
fun.
too many scarves, so I have like
Oh,
different colours that
same.
match every outfit, right? So
I love it.
that's just a thing. And I tend to wear like I'll have something patterned on the top and like something plain on the bottom, or vice versa. And so
Yeah.
like I've got a patterned skirt and then plain on top.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And
Yeah, I
like I'll
used to work in.
accessorize with a scarf or jewelry or whatever as well. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I used to work in Topshop and oh my God, so I was a visual merchandiser when I worked there, and it totally threw me because I'd been doing it before in Dorothy Perkins and I was feeling like really restricted with sort of how I could put outfits together because like you have to basically just go off of their sheets. And then I went to Topshop and it's like a whole nother thing. So again, like you have like these sheets, but it's like print on, polka dot on, stripe on. Like there wasn't a blinking plain colour in sight. I couldn't deal with it. And I'm a fairly like print heavy person, but it just I moved from that into management because I was just like, I can't get on with that.
so I have to ask, if you used to work at Topshop, what do you think of Philip Green?
Oh, he's an absolute, I don't think I can say the word now, but he's a C word. I
Okay.
was working there. So
The Australian C word.
Topshop, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The see you next Tuesday word. I was never the biggest fan of Topshop, to be honest. Even when I was like at uni in fashion school. I Yeah, and then so I moved there. I went to them just because, like I say, I was quite sort of restricted in my store where I was at. I had a funny manager and all that. So I went to Topshop and, and it was all right. But then, this is what I was talking about on stream the other night. You get sucked in to the buying all like your outfits because then like all like suddenly like you're off trend and like whatever you're wearing has gone out of stock and everything. So it just like led me down this whole rabbit hole that I'd never been in, like sort of with my family and that. We were very sort of, although my family didn't shop from like second hand, like especially like my mum wouldn't, like my dad's a bit more like that, but my mum wouldn't for us. It would be C&A's or Etam. So, but but it was like you wore what you wore until it sort of was sort of like worn into death. So so I was just like never in that thing of kind of like keep buying new stuff. Until then I went there, and then it just like sent me down this whole horrible rabbit hole anyway. Then I moved from the store where I was working, and then I went into management into the store in Walthamstow. And this was about a year before the Walthamstow riots. For now I can never remember the boy's name. Is it Billinger? Anyway, the boy that there was a protest because someone died, unfortunately, and it was obviously a heavy topic because police were involved. But anyway, we won't go into that. There was on the back of this sort of peaceful protest that the family was doing, there was then riots that went all down sort of from like North London down sort of east into Oxford Street, which is the most famous sort of shopping district in London. And so Walthamstow was like right in that sort of line of fire. And we were told by the security of the centre in Walthamstow that we had to leave sort of by this like particular time. And so we're like, emailing, me and the manager were emailing with like sort of head office and things, and was like, we need to go. And Sir Philip Green wrote out an email to everyone that no one was to leave their store, blah blah blah, like, oh yeah, we're gonna take on this battle, blinking. I'm sorry, like, even as a deputy manager I was only still being paid as like a supervisor, if that, really. So yeah, anyway, so he wasn't going to let us leave, but thankfully we were in this shopping centre, so the security made us leave. Now Topshop was on top of Dorothy Perkins in this shopping centre, so we were one of the only stores that didn't even get bothered, because like, who's going to go into Dorothy Perkins? Anyone that knows. But oh my god, like, the rest of the place got decimated. There was a BHS, which again, if anyone in the UK will know, but it was stood for British Home Stores, and it was homeware, and then they eventually did some like clothing brands in with it. But that was bought by Arcadia at one point, so it was sort of underneath that umbrella. But anyway, they were this store that was like right on the end, had all these glass windows, so they could smash through that. Went all through, went to all the sports shops and all the jewelry shops and sort of looted them. But so anyway, so we left, but I wasn't allowed to go home. I had to hunker down at my manager's house, just in case I had to go to a different store. Sorry, but like, where else am I going to go? Because every single store in London was being blinking looted. So like, what the hell? So that just like really sent me down this thing of, he just doesn't give a monkeys about any of us. So yeah, so I didn't last there for that much longer after that, because it just like really sort of put a dagger in my soul of, why am I even bothering, really? So I sort of soon moved on from them. But yeah, so that's what I think about.
Yeah, can't say I blame you. Interesting. Well, so
Yeah.
since
Sorry,
we're on the
rant.
topic of since we're on the topic of this, on your previous show, which I watched on replay, you were one of the brands you mentioned was Lululemon.
Mm.
And I'm curious about your thoughts about them, because I've read some things about their work culture, shall we say, allegedly. And so
Yeah.
I'm curious about what your thoughts are about that, because obviously this is your area.
So my thoughts are, so have you heard about the MLM, Lula Ray, the other legging, the MLM legging brand? So I often get them muddled up with Lululemon.
Okay.
So I always say that Lululemon is a cult, but equally I will say it's a cult. or a little bit culty anyway, because because
But
I
for
was
the
like,
record, you said that, not me. Don't sue me.
yeah.
Allegedly.
Okay, you can come for me. I'm the ethical tailor, not the lover of fashion. But anyway, so yeah, so because I had heard stuff about their work culture and how and at the time I was working at Levi, and across from us was one of their stores, and they had like a yoga sort of workout sort of studio downstairs and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, sort of, it all just seems like, I feel like places when they sort of kind of take everything so in-house as such, like they sort of put themselves as all these different things. And I'm just like, sort of, you're kind of taking up like a lot of the market. And I just feel like it's this whole thing, a bit like sort of how like Peloton, like people sort of perceive like Peloton to be like, oh, you get the bike and then you have to get this add-on and then this add-on. It's like, oh, like you get the leggings. Oh, and then you can come downstairs and then stay for like another couple of hours and then like do all these sort of things. And I don't know a lot about the sort of workers because I don't know anyone that's worked there personally, but I have heard some stuff about how there is a lot of this kind of, they're expected to sort of do a lot of extra things, like sort of turn up early to do sort of a yoga session or kind of stay later to do whatever. And I mean, it's kind of why I often think sort of call the fashion industry as a whole very culty, because and I'm like it in my own business with my team, where I like to have a tidy floor, and I'm very used to doing that myself, from having worked in retail stores, that we did all the cleaning and things, which I think is fine to a point. So I will, with my team, I'm like, sort of, I hold myself to a high standard of like sustainability. That, sort of, when you're cutting off a thread, instead of just chucking it on the floor, you put it in the little pot that I have, and then we keep those bits, and then they get recycled through a partnership that we have. So it's all those kind of things, and I'm just like, it would. Oh, thank you. I will look them up.
Sorry, I meant to put that in the
They
chat, not the
would.
private one.
Oh no, that's all right.
But
I will put that in my in the chat for
I
my
just love the
channel as
fact
well.
that you also have an offcut bin,
Oh, absolutely.
like me.
Because like, and it's so funny because I think my team like think I'm always like, and this is like every single like different team that I sort of kind of get on. They always kind of look at me weird when I'm like, oh yeah, so like the offcuts go here, and they're like, wow, and I'm just like someone with like a cleaner every day, like they just like clean it, and I'm like, no, because if I went somewhere and they're claiming to be, ethical, sustainable, and I went in and there was all these threads everywhere, I would kick up a stink, because you're not living by those standards. And I think it's so there's so many what's it oh, sorry, words have lost me. So many businesses and brands that are sort of trying to be sustainable, sort of talking about themselves being sustainable, yet they are sort of doing a piss poor job of it. So I'm just like, if I'm going to hold them to that, I've got to hold myself to a high standard. So therefore, anyone that works for me will do the same. So, so it doesn't take that much. And there's been times when I've asked them all to pick the stuff off of the floor, but then since then they all learn, and then they put it in the thing, because, then that does take your extra time, and I don't want people to do that. So anyway, working in retail, you do all the cleaning at the end of your shift. And you could go over now, so you are paid like an extra half an hour after the store closes, but you can often go, like they won't let you leave until like the whole place is cleaned. So if you have some like really shitty people in your team that don't like pull their weight, or quite frankly, there isn't enough of us to do it all. So like you're all trying to do like 100 things at once. I was never like this when I was a manager, but obviously I did always have to think about who was in like the next day and would they pull me up against it. But so like like you would sometimes have to like stay like an extra up to like even an extra half an hour sometimes if anything went wrong, like the money wasn't right, so then you had to keep counting it. The alarms maybe wouldn't go off properly. I've had to be there for longer, or sometimes often just like 15 minutes just because like the place wasn't tidy enough. So it's just like all these kind of things that I think is sort of where I have this kind of sort of why I kind of think it's all a bit like that, because it's sort of you're so coerced into doing a lot of things like sort of with the uniform. Like you get like uniform like every month. But like you get this discount and you have to pay for like the rest. And then it's sort of like, and then, like as soon as something goes in the sale. So when I worked at Monsoon, I was like, it's quite a decent sort of ratio. Like it didn't seem like we were sort of outputting so much. But then as soon as something goes on sale, you can't wear that outfit anymore. So you really had to get into this thing of like what, like second guessing what's going to go in sale. So you would sort of, like think about kind of what you were buying. It really like sent you on a trip.
That's madness. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's it's crazy. But yeah, sort of I'm interested to know, like I will check out these links, but yeah. Oh, actually, I think Thingy put them in there. Oh no. But yeah, so it would be, it'd be interesting to know what you think of it all.
I'm not sure. Well, so we talk about Lululemon or just what was...
Sorry,
Oof.
Lululemon, not the fashion industry in the whole as a whole.
Yeah, so I've read things about it, and I've seen some true crime documentaries about some things that allegedly happened with the staff at
There was
Lululemon. I'm
there
not...
was that
Yeah,
one, wasn't it? Was it them where someone got killed by an ex-boyfriend or something?
I'm not sure I can really say
Yeah, I'm
too
sure that was
much more.
Lululemon.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, I
I
actually when I was Topshop, there was where was it? I don't think it wasn't Topshop. I feel like it was a different store. But yeah, someone, oh no. Yeah, no, there was a clothing store, but I think it happened at a travel agent's as well. Someone went up and just killed someone. Yeah, broad daylight. And that was like an
Wow.
ex-boyfriend.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you
Sorry.
definitely live in
I'm
a
sorry.
different era.
Take it
Um,
so topic there.
yeah, I guess if I could go back to an earlier thread as well of something you were talking about, that was part of the reason I was asking. I find that a lot of basically the stuff I find in charity shops is of much better quality than the stuff you get in the high street shops, because by the time it's made it to the charity shop, it's had to last long enough to be secondhand. And
Yeah.
you
When it's
never...
true secondhand,
Yeah,
like when it's because
you
so
never
in
get Primark stuff
London,
there, right? So, for
so in
instance,
London, we get a lot of fast fashion in our charity shops. So that's my only thing is sort
well,
of
I find the fast
I
fashion
have a
stuff doesn't
different
make it
view on
there.
them because of that. I tend to go for like more like the vintage stores, because the charity shop, sadly, is full of H&M and Primark.
Oh, But I find the stuff from like Primark doesn't tend to make it to the charity shops because it just wears out and gets chucked away. So maybe this is different in different areas, but this is what I've found is that like
Definitely,
that
you
stuff, you
you
just
must
never
be a
find
more
it there.
high end market than me.
I don't know about that.
No, it's good. It's what
But yeah,
I want charity shops to go back to. It's what I miss from them, you know?
yeah, fair enough. Well, it sounds like we're going to have to go shopping together sometime
Yeah, definitely.
in an undisclosed location that we're never going to mention on stream.
Go. I think York's quite good.
Yeah, I've heard. I don't know. Some place in Wales is great.
Oh, apparently my family's from Wales, so that would be good to go to.
Okay. And big shout
Yeah,
out to
back in
Selena if you're watching.
Oh, yeah, apparently so I have I want to do a stream on it actually. My aunt gave me this book about the Couchman surname because that's my surname and that's what my brand is under. And yeah, we go back to the 1500s in London, which just like makes me laugh because I've always said like there's nothing other than sort of English in me. But then apparently before that, in like sort of the 1300s, we were potentially in Wales under the surname Cushman, Cushman.
Is that like the Welsh word cwtch?
Potentially, I don't. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how it's pronounced in Welsh, but yeah, it's really interesting. Like apparently, some family member has done this like years and years ago, all this history. So yeah, I kind of want to do like a deep dive on it. So
Cool. Cool.
yeah, it'd be good. But yeah, sorry. So you were saying, so yeah, so you have like really nice stuff, and that's the thing. Like that's what I like about charity shops as well. Is sort of this idea of like if it's lasted that long, then like that it's decent. Like a few bits that I have found from sort of more independent places have been actually handmade stuff that's been like given to a charity shop, and I just think it's so precious because like I don't realize it when I'm like trying it on. It's not until I get home and I explore it more and I'm like, oh actually it's like it's hand sewn, or it's like like the edges aren't fixed, which I know from when I make my own stuff. So I'm like, oh my god, it's been like handmade, or like someone else has like pre-altered it, and I just think it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine that does all the hand making of stuff as well. It's mind boggling. It's amazing. But again, if you're watching, big shout out, Kai.
Oh,
But
amazing.
yeah, so I don't know if any of that stuff ever makes it to charity shops, but you were saying about the more independent ones. It's certainly in let's not be too specific. Certainly,
Where
certain
you are.
areas of North London. There's lots of like what I call clusters of like charity shops. They all seem to be on the same road, and they'll be like there's particular areas of North London where like you get these clusters of like all independent ones, and yeah, you'll
Mm.
find the sort of stuff that you're talking about. So
Yeah, I think it's so nice. Fabulous. So, and you were saying sort of you're mostly on the kind of 70s styling of things.
kind of. I kind of
You
have my
sort
own
of,
like I kind of have
yeah, I
my
was
own
going to say.
style. I like to mix and match. So I'll have like retro stuff and then mix it with some modern stuff. And
Nice.
like, I don't really know. I don't really know what I call my style. I just have a thing that I go, yeah, I like that or I don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
slight 70s hippie thing, lots of paisley, lots of patterns, but also like a one thing will be patterned, another thing will be plain, or like one thing will be loose and flowy, another thing will be tighter. And like
Mm.
so I mix and match these things, and Yeah, I don't know. It's my own style, but I've never been into the whole following fashion particularly. I've always been a bit of a like, don't know. I know what I like, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And one thing that I have been sort of interested in, kind of, so people on my channel sort of, I've spoken to about it a few times. I'm sort of part of SPTV and the Law Nerd community. So, and that sort of SPTV is where I know Joe from. And so I've sort of been interested in, because of like knowing my own journey with sort of my style and kind of fashion through like going in and out of sort of working in retail and sort of like I said before, sort of getting sort of caught up in kind of buying so much. If you have any sort of changes or patterns that you could see in yourself through sort of leaving the group that you were a part of, because actually on Tuesday's stream I had Kim on the chat, and she was saying that she was getting rid of all of her wardrobe due to the trauma from a group that she left. And I know sort of kind of people in sort of kind of the Scientology sort of lot that we kind of watch will often sort of talk about sort of the uniforms and things. So I just sort of yeah, if you're sort of styling or your relationship with clothes, that's the word, sort of changed through anything that you've been in or being a part of.
oh, that's a great question.
And
Yeah,
obviously
so I'd
going into as
say
much depth or not as you want,
yeah,
'cause I don't want
definitely.
any discussion.
So obviously Diamond Way didn't have anything like uniforms. I'd say I looked at kind of my hippie style in a slightly different way after that, because I was like, yeah. So I guess it made me conceptualize it in a different way, sort of thing, and be like, hey, I want bits of that, but I don't want the whole kind of lifestyle that some people try and sell with that.
Mm.
And I guess I felt in some way that I liked the look of it, but not other parts of it. And I guess also, in some way, it really brought home to me the what was there was a way that Marilyn put it, kind of cultural appropriation that you sometimes come
Yeah.
across. And obviously Diamond Way is full of that because it's all Westerners. And so yeah, hey Juliana, tudo bem? Boa noite, boa tarde, sorry. Got to get the right time of day. Where was I? So yeah, I guess it did change my relationship with clothes and with my style, but in a subtle way. And I'd say that a lot of the I guess at the time I was probably shopping more at places like Primark than I do now, but I was still charity shopping, whereas now I'm like almost exclusively charity shopping. And so there was kind of a natural progression there of my shopping habits changing anyway. But yeah, there was some subconscious, subtle changes as a result of that experience, but nothing major, I'd say. Yeah, there wasn't uniforms. That wasn't like a big thing. So a little bit, but not much. Yeah.
No,
And
exactly.
I
Yeah.
guess
No,
same question to you.
yeah. So massively, I haven't shopped in years. I sort of
Excellent.
I sort of traumatized myself with the debt that I incurred, sadly.
Right.
But I do sort of have a thing. So kind of I was out of work for like sort of 6 months after one job. And then that's then when I got my job in Selfridges before I started my company sort of properly. And and it was quite funny. So I was really sort of thankful to be in Selfridges. I was a fitter tailor, and you could kind of wear whatever you wanted. You had to keep to kind of a color palette, like a darker sort of color palette. But there was plenty of people that sort of went around that. So then I did. But I was always the one, as Kelly was saying in Marilyn's dream earlier, I was always the one that was picked up for being the one for speaking out or, doing something wrong. So, but I sort of didn't allow that to sort of get me too much. Though I did end up with some health problems because of it, the stress of it. But anyway, the manager did at one point want us all to like wear some. She was like, "Oh no, we're gonna design a uniform for everyone," and I was like straight away, "No, I'm out of here." So yeah, so I was kind of sort of from that point onwards, like although I did after that go and work at Levi's, but sort of for not being someone that particularly would wear jeans that often, I then sort of kind of got a few pairs of jeans working there. But I was kind of again sort of it was kind of easier for me because I was the tailor behind my desk. So it didn't really matter necessarily that I didn't like continually buy uniform there. And then I was only there for like 6 months because they paid me so poorly that I was just like, I'm not having that. So so that was that. And then yeah, and then after that I sort of started my business. So it's yeah, sort of having that kind of break from sort of having to buy uniform at Selfridges sort of allowed me to explore my own wardrobe a lot more and then sort of develop this more relationship of actually not buying, but then equally only buying when I really need to, and when I do, then thinking about what I buy. So everything that I've brought since has been from ethical stores. Shoes is the hardest, so I have brought a couple. Whether they're sort of really secondhand or not, I don't know because they come to me so pristine. But they say that they've been worn once at least. But off of eBay, some very nice. If anyone knows the brand, Irregular Choice. Oh, I like your glasses. But yeah, Irregular Choice. I love their shoes, and if I had them up here, I would show them. But they're amazing. So I got these sandals that had these little boats on. But yeah, and then otherwise I've brought some trainers that are from a company called Vegan Shoes that are sort of the now shoes is like the hardest to buy ethically because you've got all the glues and things like that that go into it that no one understands. Is like all that goes into it. And my other thing with sort of clothes, which we'll do a deeper dive on this, but is cloth. So like you can get obviously cotton, you can get polyester, but then you also get cotton poly cotton rather. And when you mix the two as a fabric, it then becomes far harder to recycle if it was just the polyester. Now, polyester on its own is a hard enough one to recycle because it can't be remade into another into more fabric. Sort of then like can't really get made into anything. So that's my downside of anything polyester. Aside from the fact that it's made from oil from the first place. But anyway, so so kind of with shoes, you sort of get that because it's this amalgamation of all these different fabric types, plus glue, which is obviously sort of can be like petroleum, can be whales. If anyone didn't realize, whale fat is in a lot of different things, which shocks me every day that I hear of the different things that it's
Wait, they're
in.
still using oil, whale oil in anything? I thought that was like a 19th century thing.
No, because
Whale oil. Wow.
just recently it came out that Japan was back to whaling.
But they use the whale oil in shoes?
hmm It's
Wow.
in the glue. It can even be. Now, apologize to people, but it can even be in toothpaste
Today I
and
learned.
like hair gels and
Yeah.
things like that. So yeah, and soaps. It's like everything. It's yeah. Sadly, it's
But
everywhere.
like,
But
why not just use normal glue? I don't understand why. How bizarre.
it's what makes the glue. It's in the glue.
Like synthetic glues, or
So
because I presume it's not
like
high glue.
some sort of component. I can't remember what they actually called
How
it, but yeah,
strange.
it's
Okay.
yeah. I'll have to. I will research it and I will find it because I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, it's yeah, this sort of part that's in a bunch of different things. So yeah, so kind of things like that. Sort of my toothpaste and things I now buy from G Organics. I don't know if they're in the US, but hopefully so. And then my soaps I buy from sort of independents that make soap. But equally, I often will research even them to see sort of how sort of truly kind of sustainable they are, because some people that are you kind of just making the markets don't always know like what they're necessarily using. And yeah, so it's sorry, it's one of those, and it's not the nicest of topics, but yeah, it's a sad fact. So yeah, so anyway, so like shoes is like a really hard one. So as I was sort of going into this, vegetarian shoes, they're made in Brighton, and they are the best sort of sustainable ones that I've seen for trainers and for kind of some boots. They're always the most nicest of fashion style, but the trainers are like a really, really nice, just sort of like white kind of like just like a street trainer that like you see everywhere now, but they're like a really, really nice one. But some of the sandals are not quite my cup of tea, I must say.
So I've
But
often found. Sorry, go
sorry.
on.
No. I wasn't
I
going to say
just
anything.
okay. I've often found that vegetarian shoes or vegan shoes, as they call them, quite often seem to be just made of a lot of plastic, and so I at least prefer the kind of degradable or reused leather. But I was also going to ask you. So I used to be a massive fan of DMs. I used to wear DMs all the time, but I found that basically the quality has gone to absolute crap, but the prices continue to rise. And so I wondered if you had any suggestions of an alternative for those.
Not quite for DM, sadly, and it is really, really sad because they were like always handmade still. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that the quality's gone down. But I will say, just going back to these vegetarian shoes. So yes, so a lot of when, and I've got some vegan friends, and it really annoys me because they will, sort of like say this and the other about leather, but then yes, then they are just wearing plastic, and I hate that because it's like, sort of it all then goes back into the ocean at the end of the day. But this company, they are vegan leathers that they use, but I've looked into it as much as I can, and they seem to be sort of using using some of these sort of not quite the apple leathers and things, but they have used some pineapple leathers and things like that. So they're sort of one of like the better ones that I've seen anyway. But yes, definitely using a byproduct leather would be one of like my sort of preferred things. But leather is also a hard one to sort of trace exactly where it's come from, because as I have said before a few times, that leather, if it is not a byproduct, the animal is solely killed for that hide, and they are killed in a more brutal way, which is why I will promote byproduct all day, and I will not I will not be just a vegan. I eat a well-rounded diet, and I try and trace where things are coming from, and I think that's sort of kind of good for everyone, basically. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
No, I just wanted to clarify something that's in the comments. So
Oh.
DMs are Dr. Martin's boots. I'm not talking about a certain cult leader here.
I wondered what a question mark was about.
So yeah, Dr. Martens were or are they're a type of boots which were developed in Germany after the war, I believe, and originally had an umlaut on the A, so Martins, but they dropped the umlaut, became Martins, and they became particularly popular in the UK in like the what would it be 70s, 80s, I think. I think they were a punk thing as well, weren't they, in the 80s? Thank you.
Yes,
De nada,
Juliana.
Juliana. De nada. De nada. So, yeah, Dr. Martin's boots. They're kind of
But
a thing, and yeah,
yeah, but I was going to
I used
say,
to do
and
with
it's
them.
annoying because they're not around for me to show, but in these vegan shoes, I got these really nice boots. They're kind of DM like. They're not quite with sort of as thick a sole, but they do have a fairly thick sole. And they have like a nice little spiky thing underneath the sole for when it's icy outside. Now, the only thing is that I think I need to sell mine on, because they just are constantly giving me a blister in the back when I wear them on my hikes. So, and that's kind of what I brought them for, which is a shame. So yeah, we will see. I'll give them like another winter and kind of see how they go on maybe less hikey routes. But yeah, so that's that. But yeah, apart from that I don't have any sort of suggestions of where else to get them, because like I say, sort of shoes is just such a hard one to get, and to find any that's even sort of like you say, sort of made in a decent way that they were actually lasting out, you know. I'm actually coming to a point where I'm going to get rid of like a bunch. I've already gotten rid of so many shoes, and I'm going to get rid of a bunch more, because I've like been looking at them and I'm like, why am I even holding on to you? Like, you're sort of battered to pieces. It's okay to to get rid of you. But so yeah, so that's that. So yeah, it's sort of, and also I don't know what like you're like on sort of secondhand shoes, but vintage in particular, I can't ever fit into. They just don't do my sort of size. And because I have like a wider toe, and I'm like a 5.5 on one of my foot. So I'm a 5 and then a 5.5. So then I often have to go to a 6 because there's never the half size. Um, and then it just like flaps around, you know, like unless I get sort of like a Mary Jane, like they just like flap around, and it just annoys me, because that's what I had in like my whole time in retail. And then I've kind of got this like padded bit now, like underneath my toes, that now that I go in between wearing like heels and kind of trainers and things, I like get it sort of pops every now and then like makes my whole foot like go totally numb. It's like really bizarre, but I read up on it, and it's because of wearing heels for so long. And I reckon it's from sort
Ouch.
of almost like gripping onto them.
Ouch.
Yeah, it can be
Yeah,
a little
I've
bit
never
that.
been a fan of heels. I don't get on with them, and I
Oh,
They just turn
honestly,
after
I love my
after
heels.
yeah. I love boots, so always boots for me.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very good. Fabulous. Well, have you got anything else to say on all of that? Otherwise, we can go through some of these chats that I've got.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. Yeah, let's go through some questions. Yes.
Cool. I just wanted
Get
to
your
put this up
questions
from
in,
Terry
people.
Ray. I'm not keeping up with the chat. This is like I'm not used to my chat flying, so it's nice to nice to hear that other people are having that issue. Fabulous. So let's go to our start. So Terry Ray put up when we were talking about our charity shops. Dinger, 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 charity shop winger. I like that. Your local Goodwill store had a national story where a $25 wedding dress was designer and valued at £6,200. Wow, that's so good. See, I like a good charity shop bargain.
It's a lot of money for charity as well.
You know.
Yeah.
Anata on fire. I have several of the LuLaRoe MLM leggings. It's a shame because they are a fantastic product, and the patterns don't white out when stretched, and they don't sag. Oh, interesting. So you didn't get any of the smelly ones then? Because that's what I heard when I was listening to my podcast and all this, and they would say that they would smell and I don't know,
And
sweat
some of them were
out and all
moldy
sorts
as
of things.
well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well done, Anata. Yeah, I think
Yeah. You got lucky.
you did very well there. I bought several pairs before I heard about the toxic culture of the leaders. Yeah, not only the leaders, the toxicity of the leggings themselves, I think. Michelle, hello. I loved thrift shopping. It was the best in the 80s in Hollywood, California. Oh, nice. Oh, I wish I could have been around then. You know what? There's a skirt that I made myself that's like these really cool, swirly, all different colors, sort of swirly patterns all over it. And my mum loves it, and she would always tell me this story. Even she told me before I got this skirt, before I made this skirt rather, and then afterwards, that when in the 60s, when she was younger, she had this suit that was all multicolored, swirly patterns, and that was her like 60s thing.
Fabulous.
She was going, sorry. Wow.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And she was only in Harlow as well, so she wasn't like with the cool kids in London, but yeah, she thought she was cool. So Michelle, you could get the fancy stuff in Goodwill in Beverly Hills. Oh, I bet you could. But that was in the age of the dinosaurs. Before anyone started thrift shopping. Yeah, I bet. Though I don't think the dinosaurs would have fit into them. Anata, I took a class on how to make a piece of leather into sandals, no glues, and they make them in Mexico. Yes, I've seen them. Like, yeah, you either do it with sort of how the Doc Martens were, which is sort of you sew them through with the thread, like the thicker thread, or they do some like with the clogs where they sort of nail them into the wood. Yeah, I think that's very cool.
If we had the weather to wear sandals all year round here, I would probably do the same.
Yeah, definitely. You have to relearn how to walk in them. No heel padding at all. Yeah, I bet.
Oh, yeah. So we were talking about this in the comments, actually. I was saying about there's basically they used to wear similar shoes to this in medieval times. And you have to kind of learn to. So I tried some because I was putting together a costume, an outfit. And
Right.
like basically because there's no heel padding, you're kind of like almost prancing on your toes as you walk. And if you look at old manuscripts, that's how they're walking as well. and it's very strange to get used to. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
bet. Yeah, because
then
I've
walk again.
seen like when you see the sort of oh, what is it? They have a word for it, but like sort of the traditional like Japanese the women that sort of do the teas and things. They wear them sort of shoes, and you often see, and they look like they're kind of almost on their toes. So yeah, oh, interesting. Um, and Terry Ray says Doc Martens were huge in the US in the 90s. Yeah, I bet. Like a good Doc Marten. Angata says they had leather stamping oh thingies. I tried to actually make that word. Thingies. So we got to decorate the espadrilles. Oh, nice espadrilles. Lovely. And Joe, you said, have you ever tried soulless shoes like the medieval people wore? Very cool. So is that like it would just have the bit on like the ball of your foot as like what you would set, or it would have the whole shoe? Like when you say like soulless shoes.
Oh, well, sorry, soulless isn't the right word. I guess more like no heel on them. So it's like
Oh,
walking.
okay.
Yeah. I'm trying
Yeah.
to find a picture of them actually, if I can find one, because they
Because
had this really weird, like, pointy thing at the end as well. But
oh, interesting. Yeah, because I think it was Vivian Westwood. She did some shoes once, and it was sort of you almost like balanced, and they didn't have a heel, but you like sort of went up on your toes. I never tried any, but yeah, like seeing like the people on the catwalk in them, I was like, oh my god, that's yeah, and like next level. Um, uh, seeing what other people are saying. Oh no, heels for me from Pup Groomer. Been groomer for 20 years. I'd kill myself. I'm sure you'd be fine. It's all right. Might tread on a puppy's tail. It's the only thing. I have a friend, and when I go and visit her, she's got like two cats now, and one of them is tiny. It's called a Cornish Rex, a bit like a Sphinx cat, but has a sort of a slight kind of wave of fur on it. And she's beautiful and a lovely cat, but oh my god, she will get under your feet. So I try, like when I get in there, to take off my shoes as quick as possible, because I'm just so worried about treading on her. Right, I'm interested in what you've put in. Oh my word. Oh, interesting.
so this doesn't quite show the pranciness quite right. There's
No.
better pictures which I was actually looking for, which have the more of the way they walked. But these like pointy things at the end,
Yeah, what
throughout
is
the
that
centuries, they
about?
got more and more pointy to the point where eventually they had to tie them up around their knee because they got so long. Um,
I'm like, are they like whips?
it's like ridiculous fashion. There we go.
That
There's
is
some.
crazy. Oh wow. That is
Yeah,
amazing. So bizarre. I wonder why.
fashion. There's no
Yeah,
reason. Just
exactly.
fashion.
You know what? I'm the most intrigued about fashion from back then, and this whole thing of sort of how the whoever was in power, so sort of like royal family or whatever,
Mm.
would then like whatever the however they wanted to dress was then like how then everyone started to dress just to like appease them, and I'm just like, yeah, it really sort of makes me laugh then, sort of kind of when like you see like some of the trends nowadays, and you're just like, who's gonna go for them? And then like you go on social media and you're like, oh yeah, them.
Yeah.
Other
I
people that
guess
try and
in
follow
in
it out,
those
and I'm just
days,
like, yeah, I've never been like that.
I guess in those days, if like the way that the aristocracy would dress was all about showing off how much money they had and the fact they didn't need to work for a living because they could wear these
Yeah.
impractical clothes, right? So
Yeah. The more impractical, the better, really.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
wasn't it Queen Victoria who had the first white wedding dress? Because that showed how um, sort of high end like she was, because you had to like have a lot of money, or yeah, to even be able to wash it, sort of like keep it up, or to not have to wear it like more than once, basically. Yeah, it was her wedding dress was like the first white wedding dress, and then that's then what sort of led to everyone having a wedding dress after that. So yeah,
Oh,
just a
today I
little
learned.
fun fact.
So if I was to
Um,
have a dress that wasn't white, I'd actually be more traditional than not. I'll remember that.
yes, indeed.
Excellent. It's all the
Yeah.
excuse I.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think like pagans was more no, because it's Indians who have like the red dresses. I feel like pagans had a certain color, but now I can't think of what it was. But yeah, I know sort of kind of like Indians and things like they tend to have a red outfit, and then in Africa there's certain places and they have, sort of they'll kind of go all off on the color, and whatever the bride is wearing, that then dictates what everyone else is going to be wearing in terms of color and pattern. Very yeah, very interesting, sort of how all these different cultures kind of have their different things. I've had someone recently, she came for a class wanting to learn how to make her own clothes because she goes to so many of these weddings, and she's like, it gets so expensive sending it to a tailor to make an outfit. And I just think like, and then it just sends me down this whole thing in like my mind of kind of, what are they doing with them outfits afterwards? It's like they're not doing anything. They're just sitting there in their wardrobe. And I just think it's such a shame, such a waste. And such like pretty dresses, because they yeah, like they're always so like lavish in sort of both those cultures, really. um Sorry, I was meant to start this, but it's cool. So Anata says, I never took part in fast fashion, can't wear polyester, boil like a lobster. Yes, and I wish more people will realize that that's what they're doing, because going on the tube in central London is not always pretty. Oh no, Juliana, you're gonna out yourself. I buy too much fast fashion because it's affordable. Cost of living in Brazil is ridiculous, and I'm terrible at buying clothes. My clothes are all old, it's a struggle. Yeah, I bet it is, and I'm not here to sort of obviously shame anyone who buys anything sort of fast fashion. Just look back in your wardrobe every now and then, sort of see what you can pull out to rewear. But obviously, if you have to buy something and you need it there and then, and you can't wait to have it made or delivered from wherever, then like needs must. And the more shame that I put on is more at the brands and the companies themselves and sort of the people that are buying from them. But equally, we need to look at ourselves and kind of see if we can do better in any way. An artist says, Pretty in Pink movie made thrifting popular for that bohemian look. Oh, I don't know that movie. I'm gonna star that to remember that. many knitters buy old sweaters and pull the yarn to make new sweaters. Yes, they do indeed, Terry Ray. I've been in a few Facebook groups where people talk about that, and it will either be like people go into stores to find cashmere jumpers to make into gloves and things like that, or to to take the yarn from old jumpers, or to buy up all the bigger sizes to then make them smaller for themselves, which I get, like you see like a great pattern and it's fine. But there are like some people that seem to like go all out just to like do loads of that. And I'm just like, do you really need to be? Or like there'd be this one group that I was on, and I don't know if you've seen these, Joe, but they're like these kind of pixie jumpers. So they're like jumpers, but then a bit like them shoes. They kind of have this like hood that then has this sort of really long point to it.
That's called a Leary pipe.
Oh, there we go.
So yeah, those medieval hoods, the pipe thing is called a Leary pipe at the end.
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it would be like these ladies that would make them for no reason. They're like, they've just like gotten all these old jumpers and they're like, oh, this is what I can do with it. And it's like, yeah, that's great if like that's your style. It's unfortunately not my style, but yeah, just sort of like, I don't know, like it's sort of this thing of like people going out of their way to do things to like such an extent that I'm just like it's then excessive, because it's sort of, it's great if there's that demand, but I'm like, is there really? I don't know, sort of them, and they may well be for many of these things, but yeah.
I mean, if they're doing it for themselves, what's the harm?
Oh, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm just like, I don't know, how many jumpers do you need sometimes? But yeah, that's me, sort of kind of on my thing of I hardly make anything for myself because I don't have the time. So I think I'm sometimes a bit bitter when people do. So I'm just like, I want to make more. Anata says a man's junk was supposed to be big if the feet were big. Oh, just realised that. I was going on like a garage sale. I've just realised where this is going. Like God piece content. I think she means because of the shoes. Oh dear, oh dear. Where's Marilyn when we need her? Pup growing, it's because after 20 years I'm stocky and broad in the shoulders from deadlifting dogs, so I walk like a man. Oh no, nothing wrong with that. An artist says, have you seen the video about swans? These guys were really ugly. Take really ugly 80s sweaters and turn them into pants. It's a scream. Oh my god. No, but I'm gonna start
That
as
sounds
well
amazing. I need to see that.
look that up. So if no one's been on stream when I've spoken about this before, but I kind of first got into like stuff on YouTube through the Free Britney movement. And within that, I came across a creator who was like a new creator at the time called That Surprise Witness. And if you haven't looked her up on YouTube, please do, because she does very, very valuable work for people who are trapped in conservatorships that they shouldn't be in, people who become trapped in other sort of coercive situations and come to very unfortunate ends. And she is a lawyer, so she sort of kind of goes all through all the legal documents. She knows all that she's talking about. But anyway, she's who sent me into LawTube, and then kind of from being on YouTube, I then came into SBTV. But anyway, so she put up a stream. So she does these like funny streams sometimes, and she put up a stream not too long ago, a little clipped story thing on her YouTube that was about a designer that had done a grey pinstripe suit, and had also made this shark's head in the same pinstripe. And I did put in the Coffee Cults and Crafts Facebook group. And yeah, and she was just like, laughing at it and commenting. And I was just like, she was like, oh, like, where's the fashion police, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, like, sort of, I'd love to like do this with you. And I followed her like ever since the Free Britney stuff on Insta as well. And she DM'd me on Insta the other day. I was so excited. I was out for a meal with friends, and I had to like stop everything just to sort of fangirl over this. So yeah, so she like sent me this video of these awful pants. So yeah, so I sort of said to her, oh, like, when should we do it? But I think she just wants me to do it, which is fine. I will do. I just need to have some time to do it. But yeah, so I will do that with that video, and then I will find these swans at some time and do a little sort of reaction to that, because yeah, that would be quite fun. And I do, although you were talking about your legging love, Joe, I have a slight dislike for leggings, just as a personal thing. I wouldn't sort of just wear them out, apart from kind of if I'm going on a run, sort of in kind of every day. But I do get a kick out of the ones that are really printed when people, and it's like an unfortunate print. So I do have a video that I did of someone not too long ago, from the back of kind of how this print goes, because they always kind of make me laugh. But a pup groomer was shouting the leggings praises on Tuesday's stream. So nothing against leggings or those who wear them. It's against the people that wear them with bad underwear, or that then make them then have see-through ones, or have bad
VPL.
print placement. BPL, would you say?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Fashion
All right.
police
I'm.
indeed.
There we go. I'm gonna have to go
Um,
soon. I'm
No, I
afraid.
was going to say that's sort
Yeah.
of the end of our comments. So, kind of.
Okay.
Oh, sorry if you heard that. That was very
Just
impromptu.
I wanted to show
If you
you
had
one
anything
last
to end
thing.
off with. Oh, pretty. They are they like the palazzo pants, or
No, this is like a full length kind of maxi skirt, I guess, slightly shorter than maxi.
oh, it's a
But
skirt.
this is basically I was wearing this most of the summer. It's
Oh, I
really
love that.
comfortable, and it's a brand I hadn't actually heard of before. But obviously, I got it from a charity shop. But the brand is Cerulean or Cerulean, however you say that.
Oh,
So yeah,
interesting.
it's
Oh,
one of
yeah,
my
I don't know that
favorites.
brand either. Nice. Oh, I like it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if there's these trousers that someone said to me once before about, and I think they're sort of a Middle Eastern sort of style of trouser, where it's almost like a wrap sort of skirt, but then like you put it between the legs and kind of
Oh,
wrap it in a certain way. And I can never remember what the name of them is.
so I've seen similar things, but not
And
Middle
then you end
Eastern.
up
They're
with
called
like
like
slits down like this.
Thai fisherman trousers.
That's
Is
it.
the word I've
Yes.
seen. Yeah.
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 But yeah. So yeah, that's what I was thinking they were. Oh, nice. Well, thank you all for joining us. This was amazing. Thank you very much, Joe, for sharing your clothing love stories.
Thank you for having me. It's been good
That's all
fun.
right. And yeah, and we will do this again sometime. whenever you're available. Let me
Yes.
know.
I guess we need to
probably
do a workshop clothes episode, maybe,
that would be cool.
or a
Yeah.
summer one or the other, or
Yeah,
both.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. Yeah, I
so
was going to say we can probably deep dive on some of these things as well.
I have a question for you. Are you going to play
Mm.
us out with that amazing funky music?
Oh, I can do. You know what? I don't actually have an outro, but we can definitely do because
Why not?
let me just get it lined up. Yeah, because I don't have an outro specifically. And yeah, and I want to do a little clip of this so that then there's at least something to remind people to like and subscribe. So if you haven't already, please. There's 10 people watching. 2 of them are me. on 2 of my devices potentially. But yeah. If anyone has that thing where you can make it go all funky. Thank you ever so much, Terry Ray. I really appreciate it. And so then let me get that on screen. Oops. And then we can take ourselves off.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.